Hi and welcome. I'm Mary Jo, also known as Sojo, and this is my channel where I talk about all my quilty stitchy things. This is my weekly update number 14. This is where I talk about everything that I've worked on and completed during the week with the previous finish along the way, like the quilt behind me. Now, a couple channel updates before we get into that. I did post part 3 of my completed quilt trunk show this week. I have also posted videos on the Cotton Cuts gnomes. I did the boy gnome, the accent one, and the girl. So hopefully this week I will be posting accents too, and me finishing into a quilt top. I will also be doing part 4, probably around Tuesday. So let's talk about the quilt behind me. This quilt was actually a pattern. Is a previous finish that was a pattern from the Quilt Maker magazine, the November-December 2014 issue. And the pattern was called Diamond Trellis from Brenda Plaster. So that was the pattern. And that's the quilt behind me. Now, it was quilted with a paisley pantograph, and we'll take a look at that quilting. So there's the quilting. It doesn't show so well with the fabrics, but it is there. And then I had just used this floral for the backing. And we'll take a look at this label down here in the corner. Yep, there's a label. And it was done 2019. So this is what I quilted this week. This is my, well, I call it llamas, but I guess it's actually alpacas, because it is Alpaca Anyone from So Fresh Quilts. But I quilted it all over with llamas, and we will take a closer look at the quilting here in a minute. Now, I did use Minky on the back of this, and this is all flannel. So between the flannel, the backing, and the Minky, it's going to be a very heavy and very warm quilt. But we'll go in, take a look at the quilting. All right, so there is one of the llamas right there. You can see his head that comes down through his legs. Let's go over here. There is another one. The head up here, come down into the legs. And then if you go all the way over here, there's another one that comes up. So that is what is quilted on the quilt. And this is the back of the quilt with the Minky on it. And those llamas are really popping out on the back. So that's what I quilted this week. But what did I piece? Well, the gnomes, the boy, the accent one, and the girl. I still have the accent 2 to do. So I'll show you those. That was the boy gnome. This is the accent 1 piece. And this was the girl gnome. So the other thing I worked on this week was this summer solstice pattern. Now, I had shown you last week that I had the diamonds. I just needed to press them. So I did do all of the pressing, and I took a picture of them laid out as what they're going to look like. So I'm going to insert this here. I put it on the floor and took a picture. So now that I've got the center diamond part done, I'm working on this piece right here, which are these New York Beauty blocks. So again, I do think this pattern is very confusing. I am working my way through it and figuring it out, but it took a lot of time to get those cut out. All the pieces, not only with the fabrics, with the paper piecing templates. So I've got them all cut out in 3 different bags. And then these pieces are actually together because that's going to be the first thing I sew the next time I sew. And that took quite a bit of time to get all of that organized and figured out. So, the next thing I worked on was this Awakening quilt pattern. So I worked on a bunch of these 9 patches. I got the rows sewed together, so I just have to sew the rows, got them pinned together to form those 9 patches there. So I did that. And I also made a bunch of half square triangles. And these are all stacked together and gonna now be put into 9 patches. And I also worked on these, which are gonna be those quarter square triangles. So I've got them pinned together. I just have to sew them and then I'll trim them down, make sure they're the right size. And I'll have like those hourglass blocks. And then these go together in another 9 patch. And then, as far as quilting goes, I only worked on one other project. And let me get that. And what that was my Lori Holt Vintage Christmas. Yeah, I did 2 more blocks in this. I did this block, and I actually ended up making 2 of those blocks just because the way the pattern was wrote, they had us made 18 of these little hourglass blocks instead of 19. So I threw it together and made another block. What I'll do with the other block, I don't know, but I made it anyway. And this stocking block with the candy. There we go. And that's really all I done with quilting this week. So I don't think I did a lot with quilting, at least not as much as I normally do, but that's okay. I just had a busy week in life. So we didn't get to it. Now, let's move on to cross stitch. I will show you my cross stitch progress so far. So again, I am working on this Christmas Big Band sampler. And this is where I'm at. Starting to get long. So last week I'd only had 1 of these hearts done. So I'd finished the heart row, made the snowflakes, and now I'm on to this row where it's going to be 5 reindeer. And this is on 16 count. I'm using DMC. Now this is going to be a very, very long piece. I'm about 1/4 of the way done with the actual pattern. All right. now let's talk about what I did in crochet this week. So I have been working on this hooded pocket scarf, and I did get it done. It's all done. So there's the hood, and here's the scarf part with my pockets. Comes down, and there's my pockets down there. So that's all done. And then, because I still had some leftover yarn with that, I made a couple other things this week. Also, in the same magazine was this cow. Was just this fall textured cow. But they had used bulky weight, and this wasn't a bulky weight, this was a worsted weight. And I don't like it that long. I wanted it a little bit smaller, so it all worked out. So I made this cow. Go around my neck with my hooded scarf. And then I still had a little bit more yarn. So I made two hats. One hat. Two hat. So that's everything I made in crochet this week. Now, I didn't do any diamond painting, so I really don't have any progress to show you with that. So it looks like that's all I made. So it might be a shorter video this week, but hey, you know. All right, till next time. Bye.